need more class.
Hello. Let me get the camera. It's time to rock the love, everybody. That's why we're here. This is Rocking the Love, and I am Robin Rice Olmsted.
And I am Gil William Olmsted, and we are ready to have some fun today. Are you ready to have some fun? You want to hang out with us, do some stuff, ask some questions, have some chat? I think it'll be good.
Let's do it. Today, our topic is respect. RESPECT. Find out what that means to me and him.
And you.
And you. So it takes a village, y'all. So if you could like us and push on those buttons, we'd appreciate it. And join in the conversation because we'd love to hear from you. Because this is an interesting topic. So that's where we're going. That's where we're headed. So before we go there, let's talk about the week.
Let's talk about the week. What's happening with our week? Well, it was a good week. Busy. And we also had extra time off. So it's kind of a weird feeling. You know?
It was a good week, and we actually worked on getting some kind of organizational system down. And I don't know about you guys, but it didn't mean to be gender specific. I don't know about you all, but like I feel like there's so much happening that if I don't organize in some way, not only am I going to miss it, but it just makes me crazy and tired and all of those things. And then I never feel like I'm getting anything done when in reality I've done a ton of stuff. And yeah, so we tried to figure out some kind of system.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here as you're talking, thinking about the fact that that I have all kinds of things I wrote down that we were doing. And I need to go back and look over them again and see which ones I did, because I haven't been that good at checking them off yet either, because they've sort of come up and happened and rolling. I mean, I've looked at it to see what else I need to do, but I haven't checked off what's there. So
oh my God, but that's my favorite part is to cross things off the list.
That is great. And but at the same time, you know, it's interesting, you're just going so much that you kind of miss it.
Yeah.
And new things coming up, but it has helped a lot.
Then I get mad when I do something that's not on the list. Like, damn it. Sometimes I cheat and I put it on and cross it out anyway, just because I want to. But I don't know, what is that? I mean, that's some feeling of completion, right? I mean,
yeah.
And like you were focused, you did what you were supposed to. It's probably like the equivalent of good girl.
That's right.
Good job, Robin. But anyway, I mean, if you got to do it for yourself, you got to do it for yourself. And I think, you know, whatever works for you.
Well, for me, everything's in my head, right? So there's lists are kind of, I'm seeing them in my head. Mm-hmm. And so if I don't check them off, then all that stuff is still there. And that's part of why I struggle with organizing, because there's a lot of stuff in there that really doesn't need to be there. It's just rolling around like, oh, did you do that? Oh, yeah, I did that. You know, and that.
And silly things like I really mean to get in touch with Cindy, and I mean that and things like that just float through your mind, or call so and so, or or
did I feed the dogs yet this morning? You know, that kind of stuff. Hey,
Hi, Shay. Welcome.
let's say hello. Hello, respect.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, what's up? Some good self care there, Robin. Check that stuff off. All
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, if y'all have any good tips, we're open to receive them. We'd love to hear them and talk about them. But I think it's time to go to the good news.
Time to go to the good news. All right. All right. Whose good news are we doing first? Mine? Like traditional?
Traditional.
Traditional. Okay, very good. Okay, so I came across something that I think is really cool. And that is a company that's creating siding for houses and fences and trim and etc. out of husks. And this replaces use of wood. So by using these husks that usually end up in the landfill,
Mm-hmm.
they eliminate many trees that would otherwise be used to as building materials.
Wow.
Not to mention that they're rated, for instance, in California, for moderate to very high fire danger areas. So it's got a very fire retardant capability in it. And apparently, rice husks contain lignin and a fair amount of it, and that's the stuff that kind of is wood, basically. That's what makes up wood.
Wow.
So they have found a way to put it together, and then it looks a lot like teak or something like that with the little, it looks like, it doesn't look like oak, but it looks like teak wood and tropical woods that kind of are spotted and stuff. And it looks really pretty. And I was like, this is really cool. What a grand idea. Because, having lived in Northern California, I know that they used to burn that stuff off
Mm-hmm.
every year. And that was horrible.
Right.
And they stopped burning it off. But I don't know where it goes now, if it ends up in a landfill or what. But what a cool thing if the farmers could even just have it hauled away or make a few bucks on having it hauled away.
Right.
I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. So anyway, I thought that was really cool.
That is very cool. Very ecological and practical. And
Practical.
I like that. Well, my story today, I decided to do something very simplistic, and that is a story about a doctor, an ER doctor, who took his family to breakfast, his wife and his 3 kids. And when they went to settle the bill, the waitress brought the check and said that it had been taken care of. It was like an $85 bill, and handed him the receipt or whatever. And on the back of it, or the front of it, and the back of it was a note. And I'm actually going to read to you what it says. It said, "Thank you for being a great dad." And then you turn it over to the back, and the stranger had written on the back, "From a dad to a dad. Thank you for being the dad they need you to be, regardless of who's watching. We need more men like you. Thank you for letting us all see your love for them and all." And it was signed by a retired Army medic. And I thought it was so poignant because I thought in this world right now and in this time, kindness is so appreciated. And, I'm betting that without having him bought the breakfast, the note would have been sufficient, And so it got me thinking, like, how many areas like this can we do? Just those random acts of kindness where you acknowledge someone and what they're doing and how they're doing it, or in any way, shape, or form. So I just thought it was super touching. And on a different level, I also thought it was telling, poignant, revolutionary in some ways, for it to be a male to male thing, I mean, because we women do it on and off. We're like, "Oh, I love that dress. Oh, your makeup's so great. Oh, da, 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 da." But you guys are a little more reserved about stuff. And I just think it's really important, sharing those affirmative words with people, because we don't always know, right?
Well, I would say I don't think fathers are always acknowledged for being fathers. They're acknowledged for being providers, and those kinds of things, but they're not acknowledged for being fathers. And that's what that did. Other thing I noticed in there was it was an Army medic or a military medic. And I thought, fascinating. I wonder if he knew that guy was a doctor or not, but that there was some kind of connection between them already, just psychically or something. And I think the other cool thing is that clearly it was not older, but somebody who had some life experience who wrote the note, who appreciated it, and I think that's pretty cool.
And we never know, right? We never know. For all we know, that the dad could have been like, oh my God, I never get to spend time with my kids. Thank God I could do this 20-minute breakfast or whatever it is. I'm exhausted from my ER night in the ER. What, we don't know the backstory or what he's thinking. So, I can only imagine, since the story clearly has gone viral, that it touched him really deeply for many reasons. So, point being, we don't ever know really how we affect somebody else, even in just those teeny tiny things that we do.
And we don't realize how much we could affect someone else by taking that little step beyond what we normally do, beyond what's comfortable, beyond what is socially acceptable even.
Yeah. Well, I think of the times even just that I've wanted to say something or wanted to do something, and I'm like, no. It's not the time, it's not the place. I don't have time. They don't know.
They don't want me to talk to them.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
And we don't know. So just another way to rock the love, everybody. And again, if you have some comments for us about rocking the love and how to do it, we'd love to hear them. And we're going to give you a few minutes to put those in the chat or to go rock the coffee or iced tea or whatever you're drinking right now. And we will be back shortly to talk about respect, RESPECT. Find out what that means to me. See you in a few minutes right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
And we are back. Thanks for coming back. This is Rockin' the Love. I'm Robin.
And I'm Gil, and we are here with you almost every Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, which is 12 Pacific, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, and around the world it has different times. But we're here at that time every Wednesday
Yes.
to talk about relationship.
Yes.
What is relationship?
For the last 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
3.5
right.
years.
Almost as long as we've known each other. Okay, not really.
Yes, I married that. Okay, so speaking of respect, what is respect? What is respect, and how does it play into our relationships and all that good stuff? But what is it?
What is it? That's an interesting question, because like looking it up, one of the definitions is that it's holding someone or something in high regard. You respect it. You're holding it, sort of above, which I think is interesting. And I can kind of see how that fits, in a lot of ways. But anyway, I don't always think of it quite like that. I mean, I think, anyway, I don't know. What else? What else
how
do
you think of it?
Well, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get to is to me, that sounds like it's sort of, it's only people are, or what the,
breathe.
should I go home now? What should I do?
You are home.
Oh,
Breathe.
man. All right. So it feels like the object of your respect, the person, the thing, the whatever, is somehow has to be something elevated, something that's special, something that's above. And yet I also feel that everyone needs to have our respect. So the reality is just shifting and understanding that everybody is special and valuable, and therefore it is holding something in high esteem. It's not higher than, it's just high esteem rather than higher than esteem. That makes sense?
Yes.
That's good, because that was a long way around that tree.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's a mindfulness around everything.
Mm-hmm.
A mindfulness and a consciousness of kindness on some level of I was going to say equality the first time, but it's not even really that. It's yeah, I don't know, a mindfulness of beingness.
Jay says, how about mutual honoring of each other? Namaste. Namaste. Well, I would mutually, yeah.
I got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, in relationships, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I guess, I mean, I was really thinking about the larger picture in that I was thinking about nature, actually, is what I was thinking about.
Okay.
And, just how some people don't necessarily respect it. Like when you see that car that throws the bottle or the trash out the window.
Right.
Things like that.
I hate it when cars throw things out their windows. Sorry. But that's true. When you see those kinds of things, you think, well, why? What is the thought? And yet, we have all witnessed someone who treated something they owned or treated a person they were with or whatever in a way where you're like, why are you treating them that way? That's not how you treat something or someone. It's not respectful. It's not loving. It's as if you don't value what the thing is or the person, who the person is. You don't value them. And I think respect for me lines up with value in a certain kind of way. It's not, it's not about any kind of monetary value, but it's about how we value the world, how we value things in our lives, how we value each other and ourselves. And that's where the respect comes in.
I hear you. I'm thinking. It says, how about mutual honoring of each other? Yeah. I thought should put something new. That's all. I'm going back to the sage shit.
It's okay, Shay. We're all right. All right.
Just for the record, we don't have our producer here today, so we are on our own. Yeah. What did you just say though?
That I'm realizing that for me, a respect is kind of equal to value, of valuing. When we value things or we respect them.
Okay, but then that makes me ask, like, and is that the truth, right? Because I don't know, for me, when you use the word mutual too, like I think, you know, you and I, oh damn it, I didn't think I was going to be the one to do this. It's like the ladybug. All right, y'all. So we were driving the other day and we had this situation, and I said to Gil, oh God, I know this is going to come up in a sermon, because when he does talks, you know, it's like family beware. You never know where you're going to show up. And so I warned him. I said, oh, I feel like this is going to show up. But here it is. It showed up for me. So here was the story. We were driving and there was a ladybug in the car, and it was on the window and it was having a hard time flying up. And we were on the freeway, highway, wherever you are. We were going fast. And Gil's like, roll down the window. I'm like, no, pull over.
She's like, it can't even fly up to the top of the window. What's it going to do if the wind hits it?
I'm like, you got to pull over. So he pulled over, and I rolled down the window, and we waited for the ladybug to crawl over, and then she flew out, or he flew out. And yeah, because exactly what he just said. I was like, well, I may as well just kill it here as opposed to shooting it out on the highway at 60 miles an hour and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So like, that to me was respecting life.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And like, but that may not be how you respect life.
Right. That's true. It may not be how I respect life.
And so how do we have respect when we have differences?
We weren't supposed to talk about that, were we?
We don't have any boundaries.
Oh, no.
We don't have any rules. We don't talk about this before. So there are moments where we feel ill-prepared. But no, really, because a lot of times, you know, like you were saying something before, and it just made me think like how people treat each other or something. How do I know that that's not their version of?
Yes, I think that's a valid point. That's a valid point to an extent. You know, I think we demonstrate some level of respect, etc., on a regular basis of things and people in our lives. Now, you know, I'm not as worried about the ladybug, so that was not as big a thing. However, out of respect for you, I pulled over. You know what I mean?
I do.
You know, and so there's this underlying thing where just because we don't agree doesn't mean we don't somehow honor other people, especially other people. We don't honor the people where they are, and I guess that's even true of nature. You know, just because cactus aren't my favorite things doesn't mean I totally disregard them and kick them out of the soil and, you know, that kind of a thing, just because they're a cactus and they're not roses. You know?
So let's bring it. Yes, I do know. So
you do? Okay.
let's bring it back around to spirituality. So how does respect play a part in our relationship with God or the universe or spirit or Jesus or our own spirituality?
Well, I'm going to say, when you go to that question, for me, it plays in because, in fact, the more I understand spirit, the more I realize that I am valued and respected unconditionally. Therefore, it allows me to move in that direction with myself. And so it's not so much about me respecting spirit, it's about me realizing that that respect allows me to respect, the rest of my world in a certain way because of what it does for me.
I'm not sure I understand that, but it sounded very self-centered.
Very self-centered. It's all
I mean,
about
but
me.
which is fine. I don't. I mean, I get it. I think for me, the answer is like the more I understand, or understand is a tough word because I don't know what I understand, but the more I identify with the oneness of all, the more I realize when I'm disrespecting spirit, or when I'm not taking care of myself is disrespecting spirit,
Yeah, I think for me, I think that disrespect. I don't identify with the idea of disrespecting spirit. However, I think it's innate in the idea of disrespecting self. When we disrespect self, we're not honoring what spirit has brought forth and who we are. And
well, and
so,
how is that different if it's
I don't know. It's just how it feels to me when I say it. It's probably not different.
so do you have a oneness issue?
I have a oneness issue.
I'm serious.
There's only one of me.
Okay, so I mean, in this, I mean, what I'm talking about kind of goes to our resident radical self-care girl, Miss Shea, in that, how I take care of myself is really, for me, an outpicturing of
Can I do this one?
my love of the divine. Yeah.
We're going to skip over your last two, Shay, and touch on this one first because we kind of moved. Regarding my spirituality, respecting sometimes means obedience. I've been working on obedience. When I get the hit to do this or that, or not do that, respecting that I just had, respecting that, I can't, I'm sorry, my eyes are horrible today.
Oh, sorry. When I get the hit to do this or not do that, respecting that, and I just had a client bring that up today.
About really having those insights, those downloads, those intuitions, and then not paying attention to them. It's kind of what I'm hearing.
Holding yourself accountable, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's go back for a second because she tells a kind of funny story. Yesterday, I trapped a flying bug and put it outside instead of killing it. Then this morning, I was organizing a bunch of plastic bags underneath my sink that were just a mess. I was like, why? I hear that. Why am I keeping all these plastic bags? Because I love the earth. That was my response, and that is respect. Yes. I have to wholeheartedly agree with that concept. And even kind of the way you told that, I'm to ask myself, why am I doing this? I think oftentimes respect is not about doing anything for yourself or doing anything. Anyway, you're often doing it for a reason that is outside your own motivation in a certain way. The only motivation is that you respect it. It's not that you need more plastic bags. It's not that you Does that make any sense?
It does. It does. I mean, I think it's a slippery slope. I
Yeah.
think it's a tricky topic, a tricky word, because I mean, for me, then it goes into like ethics and beliefs and, and all of those things. And, I mean, which leads me to, we're all going to do it differently. But what is important is that at the core of our being, we're in integrity with what that means to us on some level. And I think
Yeah.
I don't want to say judgment, now I'm going to say boundaries. The boundaries that we can put on that is, like, in my opinion, and you can tell me if I can't think of a differing situation, but if you have one, or Shay or anybody out there, like, the boundaries of respect for me kind of go to like kindness and fairness and equity on some level, because, like, I don't know, if you're out there killing people or something, hard to put that into that category, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's out of the boundaries of,
Like for you to respect them, or for
or to
To
believe that
call
they
them-
were respecting others.
So that brings up a really interesting thing, which I mentioned at lunch. And we've been watching a series on Netflix, and in this series, as it unfolds, it's a limited series, so it has a beginning and clear end.
Do you
And-
want to tell them the name?
Well, I wasn't sure I wanted to spoil it or anything, but
Okay.
what I just wanted to say was what happens is, as it unfolds, she keeps getting information that other people have had for years and never shared with her, and all of them were or at least they would state mostly that they were trying to protect her,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And so, in their opinion, not sharing truth with her, not being upfront with her, was a way of respecting her
Mm-hmm.
and loving her. And so, that's kind of what it calls into question. Somebody does this, you go, well, that's not respectful. Well, what is it? Or
Well,
is it their version of respectful?
Except
And why
in the
is that?
TV show, you could see the logic. You could see their logic.
Oh,
You
I
could
wasn't
see-
saying it was outside of
right.
logic.
You could see where people, but I'm telling you the difference for me. You could see where people make choices to respect. I'm talking about intentionally going out and doing something wrong. I mean, taking another's life. And I get that you may be holding the belief that all of these people should die or whatever. And so, are you respecting that? And then the other part of me that goes, no, that's not our call. I understand having those feelings, but
Right.
it's not our call and let me speak from the I. It's not my call to take care of that in that manner. Because I don't know the full story anyway.
Well, let's pursue that for a minute. Let's say, okay, so someone does, kill somebody or does something like that. Now, the question is, do we still respect that person simply because they're a person? Is it okay to arrest them and throw them into solitary confinement and not give them clothing and, sort of make them uncomfortable and do all these things because they don't deserve it, and so getting at the point of differentiating between respecting someone and respecting some behavior or some activity of the someone. But those are two different things. I think we can still respect a person and stand ground on that's not, for me, that's not okay. Or for society, that's not okay. Does that make sense?
It makes sense let's just break it down hypothetically to a current situation in the news.
Okay.
When you hear about people being convicted of being a pedophile or something like that, and then getting pardoned, and then you have other people who have been convicted, like P. Diddy, and asking for a pardon. Explain where the respect comes in that place.
Well, the respect comes in I'm sorry, that's not something that we can do. That's not something that I don't believe I can trust you now to be out in society, etc. But it doesn't mean, no, you're a piece of crap and you don't deserve anything and we all hate you. You know, even though some people probably do. But the point being that there's a separation. No, should they be pardoned for what they did in terms of not having to go through a process, not having people figure out how to, you know, if it's something that they can repair in themselves or not?
So let me ask the question again. How do I respect this decision?
What's the decision of somebody pardoning them?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you respect someone getting that pardon? And you're not, are you talking about the pardoner or the pardonee? Those are words I just made up.
Well, I was talking about the pardoner, but the
Okay.
pardonee too. I mean, it's not, it's one and the same. I mean, it's to me.
Well, yeah, but yes, I think what that feels like is, and we talked about this a lot when we're working with kids or whatever, that things have consequences, and just because we realize they are wrong and we work to repair them does not mean that the consequence initiated by the activity or the thing doesn't still happen. And when somebody goes outside of that and says, oh no, there's no need for consequences, you're okay, I decided it, then it feels like someone very much disrespects the whole way life works.
Right.
And they're not honoring anyone who may have been hurt by the person. They're not honoring the system of justice that we have in our country. They're not honoring all of those things. And so their lack of what I see is that their lack of respect for the whole thing, and that there's, you know, and I think too.
So again, so you haven't really told me how I respect it. I mean, how is it possible to respect someone that's not that appears to not be respecting the system, us, or, you know, people that have been victimized? Or
I think, you know, we don't disrespect them in the ways that we feel they are disrespecting. Okay, because that's not okay. But it doesn't mean we don't say, I'm not interested in participating in that with you. And I don't think that's a good idea. In the case of a politician, it's, I'm not going to vote for you because I don't want you there. You know, those are the ways we respect. We don't say, we don't go, oh, fine, you know, I'm going to go find a neighbor and have them burn down this house, or I don't know.
I hear you. I hear
I'm
you.
not sure how to explain it.
I know. I think it's a tricky answer.
It is a tricky answer.
You know,
I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and I think that, yeah. I mean, let me just say for the record that the opinions here on Rock and the Love do not necessarily reflect those of New Thought Media Network.
Or even ourselves sometimes, because we'll get confused.
Yeah, but at that point I go, I can't respect that.
Yeah.
I can't respect that. I get it. Another emanation of spirit, another emanation of God, the face of God in front of me, and all of that.
And that's what you can respect. Right there.
Maybe.
because you're not respecting their actions. You're not respecting how they're showing up in the world. You're respecting that they are somehow.
Well, yeah, and it's beyond the point of you just don't vote for them because
Well,
they've already told us that we may never have to vote again. So, all right, I'm gonna get off gun. We're going down a hill. So I don't even know where to start with all of Shay's typings.
see, we did that one.
We did, okay.
Oh, yeah, we did that one.
I think it must be inborn or innate, something in people like me, because I certainly didn't come from a respectful family.
Oh, that's an interesting concept. I think, yeah, I think we do show up with this understanding that everyone is valuable and all things are valuable
Well, and
to a certain degree.
I think it's also the innate value of who we are. So when we really are in that pure sense, or just rediscovering, what it feels like to be loved and to be joy and to be special, we then can give that to others because we're in it. And I think that's a great thing, Shay, to as a topic, because it's true. Like sometimes you're like, where did it come from? You don't recognize it as what you've been taught, and yet somewhere along the way, probably just making it up, but there was probably a teacher or a friend or a mom's friend or somebody that sent love, gave you some encouragement.
At the same time, we see that same kind of thing show up. We see people who come from very, very potentially respectful upbringings, etc., who do not exhibit it, who you go, how did that happen? And so my sense is we all have the tools, we all have the stuff within us, but we get to choose how we're going to use them or not use them, or whether or not we're going to believe what we sense in our own lives and bodies.
And I think Shay has spoken to this many times, as have we, that, that's what the spiritual journey is about, right? It's about coming home. It's about doing your work, figuring out what was valid, what wasn't, or all of it's valid, and how do you use it, rearrange it, as ammunition, as fuel, as incentive, whatever, to get to that place of being that loving presence.
So she goes on and says, that's why I say namaste. The God in me sees the God in you. That says that I might not approve or appreciate your behavior, but I still respect you as a divine child of God. And that's interesting. I'm sorry. It's interesting because you say I might not approve or appreciate your behavior. And, that's right where we go into our own judgments of what's okay and what's not, and why you did that. And maybe it's not the action that's bad. We think it was motivated by something that we've made up in our head. There's just layers and layers and layers.
And is it always a judgment? I mean, maybe it is, but it's also an understanding. Like my understanding of a situation is what I base things on, right?
Right.
And I don't know, maybe that's a judgment, but judgment sounds like bad judgment.
No, it's not so much bad. It's just the reality that if it's something I have an opinion on, that's a judgment call. Any opinion is a judgment call.
Is there really anything we don't have an opinion on?
Not that I've noticed, especially with you. Always have an opinion.
Well, but it's true. But I'm serious. Even the times where you're like, oh, we could go here or we could go there. We could do this or we could do that. At the end of the day,
I really wanted to go there.
Yeah. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, there's a 51% somewhere as opposed to 50-50.
That is probably true in most ways.
I mean, it doesn't always matter, but I believe it's there. And that's why I think it's so important to speak our truth on even the little things,
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, I think it all rolls into respect. It's, yeah, I do.
Well, I'm going to share that apparently my growing up teen years, the song that I learned, the God in me greets the God in you, hallelujah. I'm in God and you're in God and I'm in whatever, is right from the Namaste thing right there. And I didn't know that the words they used that were different were akapasule, which I'm not sure where that comes from or what language that is. So anyway, there you go.
Well,
Bit of trivia.
as we said and say, there's really nothing new in New Thought, right?
Right.
There's really nothing new in this spirituality. We're just doing it in our way.
We're just discovering it in ourselves. We're discovering how discovering what works and is true and what has been. I mean, we have to discover everything for ourselves, pretty much. You know, it's really hard to tell a kid don't touch the stove and have them not touch it. Right? I mean, they want to touch it. They want to, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. Let me check that out. What's that mean? Damn, it hurts. That's what it means. You know, but a lot of stuff we do, we learn by our own process somehow, processing it through our bodies, through our brains, through all of it. And I think that's true of our spirituality too. And so all these people, all these religions, all this stuff that's come throughout time and millennium is rediscovering and repackaging and re-understanding in ways that apply more to whether you live in a teepee or in a cabin in the woods or in a high rise in New York. You know, the life is very different and how those things apply is very different, but it's the same stuff, right? But we have to discover for ourselves how it fits into who we are and how it supports us.
Yes.
This would be a really confusing message.
It is. I mean, it's, I think our intention was on some level to bring a different understanding of respect and bringing it into your spiritual practice. And so what is the tip that you would give for bringing that practice into spiritual evolution in one's life?
Well, no, what came to me while you were saying that was we often talk about gratitude journals and things like that. And it's almost like taking that time to honor and respect consciously people in your life, particularly people that feel a little bit abrasive or not quite to your liking somehow. But to make it a point, and it's the idea, this, you know, respecting, it's loving, it's offering true understanding and compassion. All of that stuff is all related. It's all boxed up in a similar space for me.
Gotcha. And I think what I would say, you know, when you were saying that about gratitude journal, it struck me like, what if we had a journal where we wrote down the things that we didn't like in the day, you know, or picked the news story. You know, most of us don't watch the news all the time or whatever that we saw on the internet, whatever, and found where we could find respect in there for whatever's gone on, or the person or the people or the situation, or, you know, where can we find, you know, and at best, if you can't think of anything, where can you send the love? Where can, if all you've got is judgment or opinion or feel so disconnected from it, where can you send the love in that particular thing? Because y'all are mighty prayer warriors, and your thoughts are prayers. So our job is to send out that love as much as we can, especially right now.
I think you hit on something really interesting, to actually sit down with something that you don't, you don't feel it's not automatic. This is great. I love it. I respect it, kind of thing. And you pick out one of those things, like I said, a news story or an event that happened, or someone that happened in your day, or whatever.
Whatever's triggering you the most.
And put it down, and then just be with it to find something that you can say, I respect, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying that as you, and what I'm thinking is I can see that as being a very challenging thing for myself to do that.
Well, yeah. When we watch like a late night show and they're doing the comedy monologue that's funny, but not funny at all in real life. And, afterwards, I just want to lay down and go to bed because I just want to go unconscious, as opposed to staying present and sending love and, figuring out that place where we, as Shay has said, where we're namasteing, where we're really seeing the God in the situation. So that is a challenge. It is an ongoing challenge, and we'll keep talking about it in different shows in different ways. But in our last few minutes, I just want to bring up, we were guests yesterday on a show here on New Thought Media called
New Thought Today.
New Thought Today.
I had to think of it.
Robert Brzezinski and Elzia, who was not there, and so we guessed it. And we're all going to be at a conference in September in Las Vegas called New Thought in the Desert. And I want to tell everybody, because we'd love to have you there. We'd love to see you there. It's a 2-day conference, and there's going to be a concert on Friday night with Gary Lynn Floyd. There's going to be other music. There's going to be speakers. There's going to be workshops. Gail and I will be presenting a workshop. Robert Brzezinski will be speaking. Elzia will be speaking. A lot of your New Thought Media people, but not only people from Centers for Spiritual Living. There will be people from Agape. There will be people from Unity. And it's going to be so much fun. And it's $199, which is a bargain for all that you're going to get. And check it out. I would tell you the website if I could, but I can't.
So we'll figure that out, and we'll put it up next time.
We'll share with you next week.
Yeah.
But we'd love to have you guys there and meet you and just be able to hang out and have a good time.
Well, and I think it looks like it's going to be really valuable, and even the bonus on top of Friday and Saturday is, and at the moment it escapes me who's speaking Sunday, but Raymond, somebody that I thought,
Raymond Anderson.
You want to hear this person. So
he's amazing.
So their regular Sunday service will feature a special speaker and stuff, which just it makes it great. It's sponsored by CSL Las Vegas.
Yes. So, and you'll be in Las Vegas.
Yeah. What can go wrong except the heat?
Always a casino to duck into. Anyway, we'd love to see you. We'd love to have you. We'll talk more about that in the next few weeks and have some people on from that conference. And we will see you next week. So you know what to do. The world needs you more than ever right now. So rock the love, everybody. Bye.
Bye.